Right now on News 3, President Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs having an unusual impact felt right here in Dane County. Plus, it's a 3-month sprint to the finish. Campaign season begins with several stops just a day after the primary election. And later, we'll meet the owner of the fastest growing company in the United States, based right here in Madison. How it all started, straight ahead.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We're starting to see the local effects of President Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs. It's on an item you might not think of, and dog owners are going to have to pay the price. New tonight at 10, Amanda Quintana joining us in studio with why Dane County is having to shell out some more money. Amanda?
Yes, well, Eric, that is for dog tags. The county orders the aluminum pieces in bulk to give to cities for registered dog owners. A new color for each year. With this new batch, the county clerk says the price went up by a lot.
If Bucky ever gets lost, whoever finds him will know exactly where he belongs, with his owner, Jessica McQueston.
Let's go this way.
All thanks to these.
I have an owner tag, I have his rabies vaccine, and then the city registration as well as the dog park tag.
The price of those tags is going up, especially when you're buying in bulk like Dane County does.
If we'd stuck with the same company, it went from $1,500 to $4,000. We were able to find one for $2,200. So still a pretty substantial increase, 1-year increase.
Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says all dog tag companies they've looked at are charging 50 to 60% more now, a result of President Trump's tariff on steel and aluminum.
You know, you get this sticker shock, but then you start thinking, how many other products is this going to be like? You know, how many things do we use aluminum or steel for?
We're expecting to feel the effects on big products with metal materials like cars and appliances. McDonald says this is one of the most obvious since the dog tags are pure aluminum.
It's a little bit surprising to me that we're already seeing the ripple-down effects of the tariffs. I didn't expect them to already be hitting us on these smaller items already.
This year, animal owners like McQueston are going to have to pay more to register their pet to cover that extra cost. But McDonald says this is just the beginning.
I'd be curious to see, you know, the county buys squad cars for the deputies. I mean, there's other larger things that we buy too. And so this is just where it's so obvious in one place.
In Madison, it is currently $15 to register your dog or cat if they're spayed or neutered, and $20 if they're not. We're not sure exactly how much that price will go up next year, but the clerk says it should be a pretty small increase.
Amanda Quintana in studio with us. Amanda, thank you. A local pastor out of a job and now at the center of a criminal investigation in Fort Atkinson. This investigation started in July. Fort Atkinson police confirm senior pastor Brian Angfer was arrested for embezzling funds at Trinity Lutheran Church. He is not currently in custody, but there is an active police investigation. Angfer did not immediately respond to our request for comment, neither did the church's current pastor. A Milwaukee bus driver is being recognized tonight for rescuing a toddler from the middle of the street. There you see the video. Diana Serrano says she came across the 2-year-old while driving this weekend. Serrano called police and waited for the girl for police to arrive. The girl's mother says she was sleeping and the child snuck out. Milwaukee County Transit says this is the 8th time a driver has helped a lost or missing child in less than 2 years. The FAA investigating tonight after 2 planes collide on a taxiway. This was at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Both planes involved were from United Airlines. The FAA says one of the planes was being pushed back from the gate when it clipped the wing of a parked aircraft. No injuries were reported. New tonight, jurors are set to begin deliberating tomorrow whether to convict President Donald Trump's former campaign manager Paul Manafort of bank fraud and tax evasion. The jury is scheduled to begin deliberations at 9:30 in the morning. The judge instructed jurors this evening not to communicate with anyone about the trial. President Trump has taken action against one of his most outspoken critics. That would be former CIA Director John Brennan. The White House announced today it is revoking Brennan's security clearance. The president also considering striking security clearances for some of his other critics, including former FBI Director James Comey, former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice, and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper.
The president has a constitutional responsibility to protect classified information and who has access to it.
High-level security clearances are commonly granted to senior government officials after they leave office. Those clearances are renewed every 5 years to allow former officials to advise their successors. Today was the first day back at school for nearly 3,000 students in Parkland, Florida, since the shooting rampage 6 months ago. The school superintendent says the school they are returning to is far more safe. The number of on-campus security personnel has doubled now. It now includes 3 armed school resource officers. More security cameras have been installed along with a single entry point system. Students and staff will also be required to wear ID at all times. And in Madison, students in the downtown area are now able to start moving into their new homes. Most of the leases in the downtown area end or begin in mid-August. Move-out day for Edgewood College and UW-Madison students was yesterday, and many leases start this week. It was an all right day for moving. Not too many raindrops falling, at least in Madison, but some areas saw some rain, Gary.
Yeah, especially the southwestern part of the state. Some areas picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain. Areas north of Madison had no rain at all. So it just depends on where you are. You can see the showers and storms this afternoon across southern Wisconsin pretty much dying out as we got closer to sunset. And now on Doppler track, there's very little rain across southern Wisconsin, a couple of showers south and east of Janesville, and that's pretty much about it. High temperatures today were in the middle 80s before the rain started. Platteville only topped out at 77 as they had clouds and rain much of the day. To the north and west, La Crosse hit 92, Black River Falls at 91, so it was a lot warmer in central Wisconsin. Current temperatures are generally in the 70s across southern Wisconsin, upper 60s in parts of central Wisconsin, closer to Lake Michigan. But look at the dew points. They're in the upper 60s to the lower 70s, so fog will start becoming an issue. Visibility down to 1.5 miles at Black River Falls. Elsewhere, generally between about 5 and 10 miles. Look for temperatures to drop off into the middle 60s by early tomorrow morning with patchy fog and just a slight chance of a shower overnight. Tomorrow will be variably cloudy, warm and humid. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up in the afternoon with a high of 81. That's your First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Continuing coverage after yesterday's primary election, President Trump on Twitter this morning officially endorsing several Republicans across the country, among them 3 here in Wisconsin. Governor Walker, Leah Vukmir, and Brian Stile all won their respective Republican primaries and races for governor, the U.S. Senate, and 1st Congressional District, respectively. The candidates for governor are now trying to maintain that enthusiasm until Election Day. Today, that meant a sprint back and forth across the state. Governor Walker starting his statewide tour in Alaska, traveling to Eau Claire, Green Bay, and then ending tonight in Waukesha.
This is going to be the toughest election I've ever been involved in. Even tougher than the recall election.
The governor unveiled his plan he calls Keep Wisconsin Working for Generations to Come with 4 key points. The first, connecting students to careers. The next 3 come with some sort of tax credits to keep graduates in the state, keep seniors in their homes, and child care tax credits, but no specifics on how to pay for it. On the Democratic side, State Superintendent of Schools Tony Evers having breakfast in Madison this morning with his lieutenant governor candidate Mandela Barnes. They then made campaign stops in Waukesha and Appleton. His message today was about education and reversing some policies from Governor Walker's time in office.
He's done more to devastate public schools, K through 12, and frankly higher education than any other governor in history. We call him out on that. That's why I put together a budget that actually goes back to 2/3 funding, and that we're prioritizing things like special education services and mental health services.
A group backed by the Democratic Governors Association today announced a $1.8 million ad purchase statewide to support Evers and Barnes. Turnout in yesterday's primary, the highest in more than 15 years. Based on unofficial results, turnout was nearly 22.1%, the highest since 2002. In total, nearly 994,000 people voted in the primary out of roughly 4.5 million voting age adults. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association inviting Wisconsin's gubernatorial and Senate candidates to a pair of televised debates in October. Both Governor Walker and Tony Evers agreed to an October 5th debate here in Madison. The organization also invited Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin and Republican challenger Leah Vukmir to an October 13th debate. That'll be held in Wausau. Baldwin's campaign has agreed to the debate. Vukmir's spokesman did not immediately reply to our email. Last night's election caused multiple county websites to crash, including the one in Rock County. Officials say the sheer number of visitors to that site overloaded the server, which kept the website down for more than 2 hours. The county clerk says there's already been meetings planned to make sure the website does not go down during the election in November. Dane County's website also crashed for about an hour. A Madison company has been named the #1 fastest growing company in the nation. Inc. 5000 calls it the eBay of freight. The company uses artificial intelligence and custom software to help companies and manufacturers make shipments easier. Our Jamie Perez spoke to the prestigious minds behind the company, gets the details on how it all started.
It all started with an idea.
Well, it wasn't an idea to do it. It was a matter of solving one man's problem and then realizing that other people have that problem.
Brad Hollister is a Madison entrepreneur, and his company was just named the #1 fastest growing company in America.
When you graduated and got your degree, did you see yourself getting here today?
Yes. Yes, no question. I started companies in college. I did a lot of investing in college, and it was a rocky road to get to this point, and certainly lots of learning experiences along the way, but no question.
A business that serves a need for other businesses.
So those didn't have those numbers, so
We need what we have. They need visibility, they need connectivity, they need artificial intelligence.
In helping solve problems and create less work for other companies' shipments, there's nothing else like it.
Truly don't see any company out there as a competitor.
And this didn't just happen overnight.
Challenges change every day. I mean, it's literally coming into work not knowing what is waiting here for you.
If he could give one piece of advice to aspiring business owners, it was this:
To run as fast as you can away from bad people.
a humble #1.
A business as usual for us.
With no sales team, his company has nearly quadrupled in value without adding any staff.
We don't look at as well we've even started our company yet.
And even though he's already #1, he says he still wants to keep climbing the ladder.
The ultimate goal I see for our company is to just continue to change the world.
In Madison, Jamie Perez, WISC News 3.
Brad told us by the end of 2018, his company will be worth between $400 million and $500 million. Still ahead tonight, your updated forecast with more chances of rain as we get closer to the weekend. But first, the outcome we were all hoping for: an out-of-state woman reunited with her missing dog in Wisconsin. Stay with us. Kids are starting to head back to school. That means parents are stocking up on new clothes and supplies. The National Retail Federation predicts back-to-school spending will hit nearly $83 billion this year. The average family expected to shell out about $684. The National Retail Federation says parents will spend most of that on clothing, followed by electronics, shoes, and general supplies like notebooks, pencils, and backpacks. The Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General is set to review a TSA program called Quiet Skies. The recently revealed program uses federal air marshals to track U.S. citizens flagged as possibly posing a threat. The passengers are not suspected of any crime, not under investigation, not on any terror watch list. Investigators will look into whether the program follows privacy laws and whether it is effective. It is the ending to a story everybody was hoping for. Last week we told you about an out-of-state woman searching for her lost dog here in Dane County, and tonight that search is over. Sarah Tiger hails from Iowa, and last night she was reunited with her dog Hope, who went missing a couple of weeks ago. Tiger and Hope came to the Madison area this summer so her husband could get some medical care. He passed away August 5th in a hospital. One of his final visitors was Hope, but 2 days before his death, Hope got away from a caretaker in the Middleton area. Tiger spent the last few weeks handing out flyers and searching. Those efforts coming to fruition last night, finding Hope in a Middleton park. She tells us the pair are back home in Iowa now to continue the grieving process. In Rock County, Janesville and Milton could one day see a combined fire station. Today, a group led by Joint Chief Randall Banker met for the first time to discuss building a station that the two cities could share. Banker says Milton is in need of a new station, and the two sharing a station could save on costs and also help with efficiency. Scientists are investigating an unprecedented algae bloom in Lake Superior and have sent samples for testing to determine if it's toxic. Experts say the bloom has largely dissipated, but reports suggest it stretched some 50 miles along the shoreline from near Superior to the Apostle Islands. Researchers expect to know by the end of the week if it was in fact toxic. Wisconsin-based Klarbrunn Sparkling Water has released this new flavor inspired by Bucky Badger himself. Bucky's Cherry Berry was announced this week in collaboration with the UW Athletics program. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to the Badgers Give Back program. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolfi joining us now. As he mentioned, some rain in the area throughout the day today in various spots. So what's it looking like in the days ahead?
And now it's almost all gone. But tomorrow we'll see the storms pop back up again in the afternoon. Let's start out by taking a look at the time lapse from the WISC Skycam. Pretty cloudy here for most of the day. We had a few showers, mainly during the afternoon. A little sunshine mixed in the morning. Very little, at least in this part of the state. And then the clouds continued through the afternoon. As we headed toward sunset, we started to see some breaks in the clouds, at least here on the west side of Madison. Over southwestern Wisconsin, areas south of Dickeyville may have picked up over 2 inches of rain. Another spot between Platteville and Mineral Point, maybe over 1.5 inches of rain. And then you take a look at the rest of southern Wisconsin. Little or no rain fell north of Madison, with some showers and thunderstorms bringing anywhere from just a trace amount of rain to perhaps as much as a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch of rain in some spots. And that'll be the case again for tomorrow. It just depends on where you're at. On Doppler track, you can see those showers are just about gone. They're falling apart south of Janesville. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, waiting to see if any fog is going to form around here. Right now, I haven't seen any, at least here in Madison. 84, the high temperature today before the showers and storms developed. Once that happened, the temperatures dropped by about 10 degrees. 67, the overnight low temperature. And right now we're at 73 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. The air is calm. The dew point at a sultry 69 degrees, so it is very humid out there. And without much air movement, you're not going to feel any comfort from any kind of a breeze. Upper level winds still from the southwest to northeast. And that's important because there's a front to our north that does have slightly cooler air to the north, but it's not making it into the southern part of the state. The showers and thunderstorms that popped up today were on the northern edge of another branch of the jet stream, which is passing just to our south. So we're kind of in between. This front is just kind of stalled now because it's parallel to those upper level winds. North of the front, the winds out of the north off of Lake Superior, temperatures were a little cooler there. South of the front, not much in the way of air movement, but what winds there are from the south, and the humidity levels are much higher there. High temperatures north of the front were in the 70s over northern Minnesota. South of the front, mid to upper 80s. A few places like La Crosse hit the 90-degree mark. And then current temperatures are still well into the 70s, even into central Wisconsin. But then you get up near Lake Superior, those temperatures drop off into the 60s and 50s. And dew point temperatures that are in the upper 60s to near 70 here in southern Wisconsin and areas to the south fall off north of that front. The air a little bit drier there. So that's where the relief is, but without that front moving on through, and it doesn't look like it will come through. Looks like we'll see a very similar weather pattern tomorrow. So the showers dying down tonight. They pop up again tomorrow afternoon during the heat of the day. They die down tomorrow night. And then on Friday, pretty much the same story. We'll see a few showers and storms pop up in the afternoon. And then eventually the winds will shift around to the north, not really cooling the temperatures off, but at least drying the air out a little bit as we head towards Saturday. Overnight, 63 for the overnight low temperature, muggy and mild, a little patchy fog in spots. spots, an outside chance of a shower. Tomorrow, humid and variably cloudy with a chance of a shower or thunderstorm, especially in the afternoon. High temperature at 81. On future track, not much in the way of precipitation expected tonight, although there'll be some areas of fog with lows in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, you can see those showers and storms popping up in the afternoon. High temperatures in the lower 80s. The showers and storms die down tomorrow evening, just as what we saw tonight with low temperatures in the lower 60s. And then on Friday, again, a chance for a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. High temperatures in the lower 80s. Rainfall amounts probably a quarter to a half inch, but there'll be spots that pick up to an inch or two in a heavier shower or thunderstorm. Just hard to pinpoint exactly where those will be. 7 to 10 day forecast. Those temperatures remain in the 80s into the weekend. Again, a little drop in the humidity for Saturday. By Sunday, the humidity starts to come back. That'll lead to some thunderstorm chances Sunday night into Monday, cooling our temperatures off to the mid-70s before we warm up again toward the end of next week.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. The Brewers could have swept the Cubs at Wrigley Field, but a split will have to do. The highlights coming up in sports.
Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin said T.J. Watt might play against the Packers tomorrow night at Lambeau, but he wouldn't elaborate. Now, if you had to wager, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers will play, probably not more than a series or two. Tomlin says his team is looking forward to returning to historic Lambeau Field, and he says you always want to compete against one of the better teams in the NFL, the Packers, and one of the best quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, but that won't affect how his team gets ready for tomorrow night.
We're not concerned about what they do or their plans in terms of their team development. We're focused on ours. I hope he does play. You know, you like those challenges of the quality players, but it's not going to affect what it is we do or how we approach our prep and play. No.
15 days till the Badger football season opener, August 31st at Camp Randall. All but 2 starters return to the Badger offense. Tight end Troy Fumagalli is with the Denver Broncos, so that could create opportunity for former Madison Memorial football star Jake Ferguson. Ferguson was a senior at Memorial in 2015. He helped the Spartans to the second round of the WIA playoffs. And if you think we haven't heard much from him since then, it's because he redshirted last year. He was learning from guys like Fumagalli on how to be a tight end in college. Ferguson has been a good listener and could be in there some this season. He's learned about the big differences between high school and college football.
Size and speed. Everybody's a lot bigger and everybody's a lot faster. So I think those were my 2 things. If I get my size up and then I get my speed up, I can compete with people. But then also there's the technique side where you need to be technique sound, where you know what to do, you know the right steps to take, you know where your hands need to go. And once I got that figured out, and I'm still working on a bunch of stuff, but once you figure out the gist of that, then you can finally just let it go. So the technique is the habit, and you can finally just play ball.
The Prep Mania Football Game of the Week returns Friday night. You can watch high school football live on TVW and Channel3000.com as Sun Prairie visits Madison Memorial. We welcome former Edgewood coach Alan Minner to our broadcast team. He'll join Bill Brophy and me Friday night at 7 o'clock from Mansfield Stadium. The bad news for the Brewers, Craig Counsell says pitcher Jimmy Nelson is unlikely to return from his shoulder injury this year. And more bad news. Ryan Braun left this afternoon's game with the Cubs at Wrigley Field with soreness in his right rib cage. And more bad news. Catcher Manny Pena goes back to Milwaukee for an MRI on a bad shoulder. And more bad news. Junior Guerra couldn't get anybody out this afternoon. First inning, Anthony Rizzo, it's a 2-run homer. Rizzo had been leading off but moved back to the cleanup spot today, drove in 3, 2 stolen bases. Guerra gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3. And the Brewers just didn't look right today. Rizzo pops this one up, but second baseman Travis Shaw gets confused or something. The ball just kind of falls in for a base hit. Another run scores. Cubs win it by the final of 8-4. So with the win, the Cubs go back to 3 games ahead of the Brewers in the National League Central. Cubs are 5 games up in the loss column, so that's an even a bigger hill to climb. Day off for the Brewers tomorrow. They're in St. Louis starting Friday night. We'll be right back.
Gary's back. One final check of the forecast.
The showers are just about gone. A couple of sprinkles down toward the state line, and that's about it. Current temperatures, though, are still in the lower 70s, and dew-point temperatures are near that, so we're starting to see some areas of fog form. Otherwise, look for a day tomorrow very similar to today, highs in the lower 80s for both tomorrow and Friday, with some chances of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Dry for the weekend, then some thunderstorms early next week, cooling our temperatures off a bit, then a warm up toward the end of next week.
High school football starting on Friday. Hopefully, that storm.
We'll see if we can keep it away.
Well, thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.